How to make millions investing into retirement homes. This is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Welcome back to the channel. We are live. We are blessed. Thank God for another day. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, hit that bell for notifications because you know we got new videos coming out every day. And don't forget to go to mgbookstore.com. You know I got to do the shameless plug in every video. mgbookstore.com. Pick up the latest and greatest House Economics and the Real Estate Investors Manifesto. And while you're there, pick up the webinars, the bundles, and all that good stuff. We got my guy Tukes Productions is in the building today. He is alive and he is blessed, and you see he got his little freaking lower thirds coming on and shit like that. But we got a special guest in the building today. We're gonna teach y'all some great information today. We got my guy Gerard McQueen is in the building, CEO of M5V Developments. This brother is out in Toronto, Canada, but doing a lot of business in Niagara Falls.
Yes.
10 development sites, and he's crushing the game right now. So you know, EYL is going to be in Toronto Market Mondays, Toronto. So we met at Rashad's birthday party, and we were talking. And I'm like, yeah, we got to definitely get you on the channel, man, because you're talking real heavy
for sure
right now. And you talking about this retirement home play, which I think is, like, incredible. But first of all, thank you for coming to the studio.
Yes,
thank you for being in Garland Media Presence. Introduce yourself to the audience so they get an idea of who you are.
Gerard McQueen, M5V Developments, like you said, CEO. You know, I've been doing real estate development for the last 8 years. I sold real estate. I was licensed realtor and broker. So it's a little bit different in the States. I know realtor, but with broker for 21 years. Had my own brokerage with 20 agents, kind of like you see on TV, selling New York, that type of thing. So I was doing that and then got into the development space. I've graduated from York University, and I've always been, you know, pretty much in real estate. It's my first love, and I think it's just a great way to, you know, create opportunities for, you know, people to make money and enrich their lives.
Love it, love it, love it. So we're going to have a high-level conversation, guys, so I need you guys to keep up with us today because we're going to teach you guys how my man is running the play and making millions with these retirement homes. So Tukes, man, let's set it off. I know you always have some good questions to start these things off. So Tukes, the floor is yours.
All right. So how do you go about raising money to even get into investing into something like this?
Well, there's a couple different ways to get into it if you want to start raising money. And it depends on how much money that you need to raise. So some people, if you're going to do something smaller, say it's a $4 or $5 million play, maybe you only need 20 or 25% to put down. So you might need $1 million. So a lot of people have $1 million, maybe between 2-3 people, you have equity in your property.
Right.
You sell your properties, you refinance, you go. Or some people are just pooling resources between friends and family. It's only $1 million. And I say only because in the grand scheme of things, when we're talking, people are living in $1 million houses, people are living in more expensive real estate. So there's an opportunity there. Or, you just pool money with other people. And I think that is the greatest resource. People have to really understand that their friends and family and people, their cohorts, are people that they actually can pool resources together and put enough money down to buy. So maybe instead of buying that car or buying that watch or buying something else that you want to buy, put the money into real estate and then let that real estate pay for that car or that watch. Now, the way I did it is I was selling real estate myself. Okay. So I was taking the money that I was getting commission checks from real estate, and I was putting it aside. And then when I stacked enough between me and my business partner, then we started, we used that money to fund our development side.
So when you're looking for like property for these kind of things, like how is it already made? You have to build it, obviously, or like, is it how it goes, or?
You got options. Like, it depends. You could reposition an asset. So there's a lot of retirement homes that are out there that people have, and maybe they're not operating at 100% efficiency. Okay. There's a lot of people who have retirement homes and they want to exit the business. Maybe they've been in there 20, 30, 40 years. They want to exit, but their family members, kids or whatever, they don't want to take over the business. Yeah. Maybe they have other aspirations. So then they decide, okay, now we have to exit the business. How do we exit? So they want to sell. So you
Right.
can buy something that's already running. You're going to pay more if you do that, but you already have a running business and you already have a history. So you might already have patrons in there. You already have people who know about your brand. Now,
Right.
that could be good or bad. Because if you have a good brand, then obviously you're going to pay more for that name. If the brand is not good, you're going to pay less, and then you're going to have to do a rebrand. Now, what we do is we're doing everything from the ground up because we want to create additional value when we build. So we're going to create equity through building from the ground up.
Okay.
And then we're also going to be able to, what we call build to suit. So we're going to be able to build it exactly the way we want it.
Right.
The way a retirement home was built 20, 30 years ago is not the same as the way it's going to be built now. We have a lot more facilities. Like we have a walking track, we have a spa, we have a hair salon on site. These things weren't commonplace 20, 30 years ago. So that's why we like to do build to suit. Our suites are actually smaller than they were 20, 30 years ago. Before, people were buying 7, 8, or they're renting 700, 800 square foot suites. Now, when you're renting a suite like that, now I've got to charge you more per square foot to be renting because you have more square feet, maybe 800, 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
That's going to increase your number. So the way we can actually keep the numbers down a little bit is build them more efficiently. So you still get a 1 bedroom, but maybe instead of being 700, 800, now it's only 500 square feet, right? So now I could charge you less, right? And I could still make the money that I need to make, but I'm charging you less because you have less square foot. So that's why build to suit is so important.
Now, how important is location when it comes to this? Does it even matter when it comes to retirement homes? Like, because, I mean, people are going to end up, we get old.
Yeah.
So,
No, but the old people, they want selection too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They want selection. So the retirement home I have is in Aurelia. I don't know, maybe this compared to like the Hamptons, not quite as nice, but
Yeah.
it's nice. It's on the water. It overlooks the water. And that's where they want to retire. So they want to be somewhere nice. They want to be somewhere they can enjoy. A lot of older people, they're selling their homes. They had a primary residence, which they lived in for a number of years. And now and their family's involved in this decision as well. So for them to go there and now go into a 500 square foot space, it's got to make sense. The location has to be right. Like we have
Right.
our own exit off the highway. And, we have all the amenities and facilities that are going to make their transition easier.
So let me ask you this, right? Let's start from the beginning.
Let's do it.
Right? Let's rewind this a little bit. Like, because you're a developer.
Yes.
You're doing residential, commercial spots. What made you, when you found this plot of land,
Yes.
what made you say, I want to do a retirement home versus doing some traditional sort of residential type of real estate?
Well, I think the first thing for everybody is you need to put yourself in a position to be able to make a certain amount of residual income every month. That's the first thing. So I was selling real estate and I wasn't making residual because I was making money based on my commission check. So whenever my commission check came in, that's when I get paid. So maybe I'm making $1 million a year, but maybe you don't get paid for 3 months and then you get 300 grand. And now you got to forecast, what you're going to make. And then you got to pay back, everything that you... So it's not the way you want to live. Doesn't matter how much money you're making. You want consistent cash flow. So now with the retirement home, we said we're going to get into development space. And now instead of getting paid every 3 or 4 months, like I'm getting paid selling real estate, I'm going to get paid every 18 months with development. Because you're not going to get your check in development until you close the site and all the unit holders take mortgages. You're the guy. It's like you're the guy we would come to when it's time to get a mortgage. Okay. So now I might not get paid for 18, 24 months. Okay, what do I do in the meantime? Let's take this building and make this something that we're going to get residual income. We're going to get monthly income every month from these people. It's 100 doors. Everyone's paying $5,000 a month. So that's why we did that. So now when I'm doing development, I'm not squeezed. I'm not in a situation where I have to worry, I'm not going to get paid for 2 years. How do I manage my finances? So it made sense to do that. And then, I had elderly people in my life. And I saw how difficult the transition was. My grandmother, God bless her, she died at 92. But we were trying to get her into a home, couldn't find the right fit. And my other grandmother is still alive, and she's 85. And we saw how difficult that was. So it's also a needs-based approach. What do you want to do in life to actually add value? And I think that's kind of the conversation that they were having at the EYL event, is finding something to add value and then solving the problem.
Finding something to add value, solving the problem, and like Took said, everybody's going to get old.
Everybody.
At some point. So, I don't hear too many people talking about they're investing or building retirement homes. That's why I thought this would be an interesting conversation to have on the channel. So when you were looking into retirement homes, did you know the numbers would be 5,000 per door for this area? Or like how are these comps compared to like a regular apartment in the same neighborhood, right? Like what is the market rent in that area where your retirement home is?
Oh, that's a great question. The market rent is probably about 22 to 2,500.
Okay.
So it's like less than half, but those don't have any services. So now you're going to pay for the services. So we have it's like we run a commercial kitchen. There's a full kitchen there on site.
So they can call anytime and get food.
It's 3 times a day, and then up to about 10 p.m., they could get snacks. So if they call, we're going to prepare them, and you're going to bring them.
So you have a full kitchen, chef. It's like a restaurant, basically.
It's a restaurant in there that we're running, and not only is that, it's got to be 5-star, because people are eating at this restaurant every day. Yeah. It's not like they're getting to pick and choose and they're going to different restaurants. So you got to make it make sense for them every day to be eating at the same restaurant. So that's what we're doing. Not only that, we have physiotherapy that's on site. So with their physio, we have a doctor that comes in once a week. So now they're going to pay 2x what normally would a rent would be, but now they don't have to go out. And then we have a shuttle. So some of them still drive. We have ample parking, but we have a shuttle. So it's going to drop them off. And then I think a big part of it is the camaraderie, the option for them to actually meet like-minded individuals. I don't know if you guys have any older people in your life, but a lot of people, they didn't want to go to retirement homes when we were growing up, because they thought it's like, oh, you're going to throw me in the retirement home.
Like a death sentence.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to throw me in the retirement home. You don't love me.
Yeah.
But now what you realize is they were at home by themselves watching TV, because the kids are at school, the parents are, making ends meet. Okay, so who's home with us? And they would just be watching, whatever TV they were watching. Like, that's not a way to go. So I think there's a paradigm shift now in terms of how people want to age. And now when you realize that, then this is the environment. And now to your other question is, before you start doing a development, so these are the ABCs, you have to go to a commercial appraiser. So it's like Colliers. And then they go out and they look at all the properties in the neighborhood. They do an appraisal based on what the rental is in the area for this type of unit. So you pretty much already know before you start building what you're supposed to get per door per month.
Now, you said a whole lot. There's a lot of information there, right? So you got basically a restaurant.
Yes.
You got to staff that.
Yes.
You got doctors coming.
Yes.
You got to pay for that.
Yes.
You got shuttles. That means you got to buy buses and hire full-time drivers.
Yes.
Right? To be able to accommodate that. Like, now, what type of research, like, how did you get the numbers for that? Because obviously when you're developing anything, you got to make sure you're analyzing your full P&L.
Yep.
To see if this is going to make both sense for you to even move forward with doing this type of project. So, like, what are like some of the things that you have to do to get this type of research and this information to know how much a doctor's going to cost? Because, like, that's when you're saying, I'm like, fucking doctor, that damn, like, how much does a doctor cost?
Well, good thing we're in Canada, so doctor's free.
Okay.
Yeah,
Doctor's free. Healthcare is free.
Yeah.
Well, when I say free, I put it in quotations. Like, we're paying 50% tax. So it's not free, but it's included in the tax that you're paying. So we're not paying it. We just have to give them a space to come in. But yeah, when you're speaking about the P&L, I think the first thing in any business is you have to make sure that you are evaluating other people in the space who have already been successful. So we're a one-off retirement home, but there's a lot of like Amica, there's Bay Shores, there's a lot of big retirement homes. They own 20, 30 retirement homes. So you can go down there and you can break their business model. Some of them are like publicly traded. So anytime you're doing a business, if a guy wants a barbershop, I need to know, okay, how much are these chairs renting out for? Any business that you have, I can pretty much tell you, okay, this is how much this person's making from this business based on these set of parameters. And I think if you want to be a business person, you have to know how to break things down. So that's what we do. So we look at all the numbers. We have a schedule. Okay, we have 60 employees. So these are the people that we have to hire for these positions. And then you have to know, okay, well, what rate are they getting paid? Which is not hard to figure out. Okay, nurse is getting 80 grand. A PSW, a personal support worker, is getting 50 grand. And you know all these numbers, and then you put them into the P&L statement, and then you look at your gross revenue. Okay, I'm making $5,000 a month. You deduct that. You take out your debt servicing, and you have your net income. It's very straightforward. Anybody could go on Google and figure out how to do a P&L. Right.
So you're running not only a real estate business,
yes,
but you're running it's two businesses within one.
Two separate things.
Right? So you have the development side of it, right? Which is the real estate. You built it, right? Customize it the way you want it. And then now you got to run the actual retirement home.
Exactly.
Which now you need to have your team, your managers, and everybody in place on there. This is pretty fascinating. So you got two businesses in one.
You have two businesses, but the thing is, when you're doing the development, that's the first business. That business pretty much stops once
everything is built.
So then that's done. And then I look at my numbers at that time. So when we're speaking about how do you ascertain, what to do with this building, you look at your numbers at the end of, say, 2 years. It took me 2 years to build it. Okay, it was worth $21 million at the end when I built that 2 years. So I put that number and I crystallized that in my mind. I'm saying this is what it's worth. Now, if I was just going to sell it, maybe I could have sold the building if it was an apartment at that time for, say, 25, 26. Okay, I'm going to make $5-6 million. Does it make sense? Or do I want to keep it and hold the asset and maybe net out, it's $5 million gross, but maybe I'm going to only net out $2 million a year. So do you want to take $5 or $6 million once,
upfront,
or do you want to take $2 million residual income?
Yeah.
Everybody has to do this in every business. They have to ascertain, what, do I want my money up front? Or do I want to take my more money, but over a longer period of time? So that's what you have to do. For me, it was already a no-brainer going in. We said, hey, we're going to take the long money. It's going to be less, but we're going to take it for an indefinite period of time.
So when you're building this property, right? How much did you pay for the land?
I only paid $1.1 million for 8 acres.
1.1 for 8 acres. And how much did it cost you to build this?
16.5.
16.5. So you in it for what? 17.6, 17.7. And the valuation on it now is 21, 22 million.
No, the valuation then, when I finished building, was 21. So I was up 4. So that's this first business. From the first business, building the building, I made $4 million. I didn't take the money out, but that's how you have to look at it, because you want to separate the two. You don't want to say, oh, I made an extra $4 million doing the retirement business. Correct. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
Now I sold it to my retirement business at 21. So that was the number. Today, because now we have a running business, and as you know, when you're selling a business like this or an apartment, it's based on cap rate.
Correct.
So it's a return. Now it's worth 36. So because someone can come in and they're going to buy this business and they know they're going to get
the building,
building
included into it,
and the business at $5 million gross a year, so now it's worth 36.
Interesting. So you took 17 million and basically made another 20 million.
Yeah.
On top of it.
On top of it.
With running an efficient retirement business.
Yes.
That's a gem.
Yeah. So, so that's why I love this thing. I love it because it's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's a gem.
It still's going.
And as your cap rates continue to do what they do,
the numbers keep rising, because actually what's going to happen is rent keeps rising.
Yep.
So market's tighter. The resale market's down right now, but what that means is rental market's going up. So as that goes up, then the valuation is going to keep going up. So the longer that we have it, the valuation continues to go up. So it'll be like 40, 41, 42, because you're going to start making more money. And like you said, it's all about efficiency. You got to control your costs.
Yeah.
So, we're making sure we pay everybody right and fairly and treat them right, so we don't have employee turnover. And then you got to treat the guests, who are the residents, you got to make sure you treat them properly, and then you have word of mouth, right? But this thing is going to keep going. Now, that's only phase 1. Because I have 8 acres. That building is only built on 2.5 acres. So I had another 5.5 that were left.
Yeah.
So now I actually got approved to build another 150 units. I start in the spring to add that onto the current building. But the supercharger about this is I don't need any more amenity space, because I'm going to create an atrium that goes to the current amenity space. And to have all these extra residents, I only need 20 more employees, because you have economies of scale. It doesn't matter. Like, I need 2 nurses, whether it's 50 people or 100 people. So you don't have to start really hiring that many more people. So now, instead of just having 100 units, now we're going to have 250 units. Instead of being worth 37.5, it's going to be worth like 85.
And it's going to cost you another 17.
It's going to cost me another 17 to build.
Another 17 to build, but you added another 40 million, basically.
Just like that. Just like that. And this is where I'm talking, the conversation that we're having offline, this is where I think is important, not just to buy current assets that are already there. That somebody's already made the money off you. Because they had, like, if I sell you my retirement home, I've already made that money through doing the development. Doing the hard work, doing the development work, that's where you really start making money, not buying somebody else's retirement home or buying somebody else's apartment building, and they had from the 80s, and then, okay, well, I made I'm gonna make 10% return. It's 10 cap. I'm making 10% return. That's nothing.
No, the numbers you're talking about.
It's nothing. It's dust.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that. You have to start, and that's the skill that we had to learn, is how to do development and how to get there. And through obviously doing real estate sales, I was only selling new construction. So then you start getting, friendly with people who are doing development, and then you realize, okay, well, what's the tricks of the trade? Like, how are you building a $50 million building? How are you, getting to this point? And a lot of it, and especially in Canada, it's leverage.
So you're leveraging everything. Are you raising from investors to do this other building, or are you doing refinances and getting construction loans to do this? How are you funding this?
Yep, the second one,
Refinance and construction loans.
Because I had the equity in the property.
Okay.
Right? Because I said we only owed 17 alone. It was worth 21. Then it became worth 37. So I went back to the bank and said, hey, can I get $4 million out of my money? Because you need to pay down 25% of your own money.
Correct.
So that's $4 million, and then they're gonna advance me the other, 12, 13. They're gonna give me a loan for it, and you get the loan in tranches. So you do a draw every month. You do the work, and then you send them. There's called a project monitor. So he makes sure you actually did the work. You get the invoices, then the bank pays you out, and then you pay the subs every month, and you keep going. So now imagine that I had the money that I made from 2017, 2018 when I built it. Then I did a refinance. Then I'm pulling out that refinance, $4 million, and then they're gonna give me another 12 or 13. So how much of my own money is that?
None. It's none of your own.
That's
money.
none. That's my number. None.
Yeah.
That's it.
Your money's already made.
I made my money already.
And when you do your refinance, you can pull back your initial capital.
It's a gift that keeps giving.
Yeah,
now
tax-free.
Tax-free. That's the best part too. Because now
Yeah.
it's tax-free, so we put it in a corporation. It's like, it's a loan to myself. I don't have to worry about it. Then I can even write off the payments on the loan against my other income. And that's it. We keep moving.
God bless real estate. Tooks is looking like what the hell are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to figure out is, so it's OPM basically, right?
Yeah.
So how do you how do you pay yourself out of this when it comes to real estate? Or is that even like a thing? Do you pay yourself out of it, or it's more of like a long-term play where you just like trying to build more? You know what I mean?
You're paying yourself, because what happens is every month we're getting 100 people to pay $5,000.
I get that, right.
And we have our expenses, but out of all of that, there's like $2 million net, and you can take that $2 million and you do whatever you want with it.
Okay. Yeah,
so that's your money to spend. So that's after all operational costs.
Right.
You still have $2 million left. So on top of this, is what I'm saying, it's two different businesses. On top of the $4 million I made building the building back then, and now that's increased, I'm getting residual income every month that comes in.
Right.
So now it's OPM now, other people's money now, but that's only because we've already done the work right from before.
Right.
So that's the key. And that's the thing that I like about real estate. It's going to keep paying you. You've already done the work once, like you bought the property and you have a duplex or whatever. Now that's going to continue to pay you for the whole life cycle of the property. So why would you do something else? Like, I know a lot of other guys are on some other stuff. Okay, I want to do crypto, I want to do stock, and it's all cool. My dad was a stockbroker, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I want something that's tangible and that's going to continue to pay me. Right? And that's not stocks. Like, I might get a dividend, but if the stock goes down, my dividend dries up. Or maybe they're paying me a dividend from the profit sharing I was going to get later.
Yeah.
Right? And this is going to appreciate. So that's the whole thing. If I just do nothing, I'm going to continue to make more money every month. Rents are only going one direction.
Right, because
and the valuation is just going to continue to increase. So that's why I think it's important for whoever, when we say our community, whatever that means to you, for people who you resonate with, people of like-minded individuals, because like you guys are my community now. We have like-minded individuals. I've been watching this gentleman online for a while, and he just keeps talking sense when a lot of people are just, it seems like they're lost. Like, they don't know really what's going on. And you seem like, I don't know where you got all this from, but you seem like you know what time it is. And I think 99% of people don't.
Well, because I really do this in real life.
Yeah, yeah. You don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Yeah.
No, sir.
That's
like,
the difference.
This is what I do every single day for the past 20 years. And when you know your stuff, you know your stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to prepare for it. I know it already.
It's done.
Right? Like when we even started this, we didn't really prepare. Like, all right, this is what we're talking about. Oh, we think this is the... Let's go.
Boom, let's go.
Let's go.
We're going from the beginning.
Let's talk about it. But that's why I love having these type of conversations. And this is a different type of conversation because we never had one about retirement homes. Yeah. And I honestly haven't really seen anything online about retirement homes. And this is just an interesting play because it's all numbers and all the numbers is relative, right? And it's the same birth strategy that everyone is doing. It's just whether you're doing with a multifamily, you're doing with a commercial building, or now a retirement home. It's all the same format. So that's why I focus on, and Tukes, this is why I always teach people, know the number. The path is math. As long as you understand the mechanics and the mathematics and the formulas, it don't matter what type of real estate transaction you're doing, it's all going to boil down to the same shit at the end of the day. Does the numbers make sense? And did you analyze the deal correctly? But I think with your business, bro, when you're talking about running an actual business, like this is a 2-for-1. And I think this is where I think now you even have my mind spinning like, wait a minute, I never really thought about retirement homes. And you see them all, especially in Long Island, these assisted living programs.
I see them a lot.
They build them shits up like crazy here in Long
That's
Island.
why they're getting paid.
Fast, quick, fast, in a hurry. But when you think about the numbers, right? You said the average market rate was $2,200 in the area, but now with the amenities that you're providing,
$5K,
and you're providing less square footage than a regular apartment. Really think about that. So somebody with a regular apartment for $2,200, what is it, 1,000 square feet?
Yeah, exactly. Because 220 a square foot, so they're getting 1,000 square feet. But I'm going to give them half of that.
Half of that. But now you get a 5-star type of restaurant. You got your nurses. You got a hair salon, right? Barber shops.
Yep, the whole thing.
You got the amenity spaces. Like it's like it's all in. Like even if you look at where I live right now, right? Yeah. You got all the party rooms and the village rooms and everything like that. All these amenities that attract people who got the money, who can afford it, to say, you know what? Let me live here because it has got concierge, got everything you need. Right.
And that's what we're giving people. So if you're gonna sell people on less square footage, that's how you sell them. The room is just like your hotel. That's just you're gonna go to sleep. But the building, those are your amenities. And you don't have a pool table at your house in 1,000 square feet. You don't have all these other things. So this common space is what is gonna attract people to come to the building. So that and it all makes sense. And then obviously having other people that they can share and spend time with. Like I said, nobody wants to get old alone. So it's like they have other people between 75 and 85 is our sweet spot. They have other people and they're hanging out and they're creating, these relationships that they didn't even have before. Right? So there's a financial component. Listen, it's a business thing. We're talking about financial. It always has to make sense. The math has to make sense, like you said. But at the end of the day, I think you have to do something that resonates with you personally. I'm not here just to make money. I can make money doing anything. I can monetize anything. That's my thing. But at the end of the day, I want to monetize something that's going to create value for the community, something I can be proud of. When I brought my mom and dad to the retirement home, they thought I was Drake. They thought, they were like, this guy, he's the greatest. I don't think they could be prouder. And those are the type of things. Because I was actually supposed to go to med school. I actually went to NYU for a semester, like September 11th. That was my second week of school.
Wow.
That's the last time I was back in New York until this week. And I came to see you guys. I wouldn't come back. Cause it shook me.
Yeah.
I was on my way to NYU. I lived in Brooklyn, 106 in Rockaway. I was driving when the Twin Towers got hit. And I turned around in my car. I didn't even get my luggage. I turned around and I drove back to Canada. I never came back to this week.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That's crazy.
Like that's what it was.
You got out of Dodge.
I left. I was 21-year-old, and then I told, I'm not doing med school anymore. So to hear that disappointment at that time from my parents who thought, okay, you're gonna be a doctor, but now we had the paradigm shift. I got into real estate, and they're saying, hey, you're still enriching people's lives.
Absolutely.
You are still adding value, and frankly, in some ways that a doctor can't. Everybody may not need medical. Everybody needs a place to live.
Facts.
Everybody needs one. So this is the opportunity I'm creating for people to build wealth through real estate and give them a place. I was watching one of the episodes to have that mental health as well, a place that they can call their own, something stationary. Like I moved around like 20 times as a kid. I'm born in Buffalo. I moved to Ithaca, New York. I'm Canada. Came when I was 12. I didn't know anybody. You know, I thought Canada was like the Arctic. I didn't even know they had summer. I was like, you're taking me where?
Yeah.
You know us Americans, we don't.
Yeah.
We just
don't
know nothing about.
Yeah, we just
I
think
just
everything-
care about.
Yeah.
I just care about New York. I was like, yo, where are we going?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's the play.
I like this. So tell us some of the cons of owning a retirement home. Because
Sure.
there has to be some cons.
Oh,
with this.
absolutely.
What are some of the cons?
The cons is that you have 60 people that you're managing and 100 residents that are your boss. And at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in business, your clients are always your boss. That is the reality of the situation. So I have to appease. So we have a monthly meeting with all the residents, and they tell us what they like and what they don't like. And we have to fix it if we want to maintain 100% occupancy. That's just the end of it. And then you have 60 people that you have to manage. Like on my other side of business where I'm doing the development, I have a skeleton crew. I have like 7 staff. You know, I have a site super, an assistant site super. I've got a director of operations. I've got a salesperson, 7 people, and then everybody else is on contract. So if, you know, drywall guy's on contract. If I don't like the drywall guy, I would get rid of him and get someone new.
Yeah.
You can't do that. When you have a business and these employees are obviously integrated with the people at the retirement home, you can't just get rid of somebody. So you have to work with them. So that is a big factor in running one of these businesses. There's a lot of employees. So I don't think it's for someone who's a newbie. You don't just get into retirement. It's, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a retirement home. You gotta start small. Maybe you manage some long-term rentals. You did something else. You have to develop some acumen. Maybe you worked in corporate America or middle management where you were managing people. So you have to have a certain skill set to be able to manage this many people. So that is the downside. And frankly, listen, we went through COVID. And the first 2 weeks of COVID, I didn't sleep. Because I was like, we have a susceptible population here.
Yeah.
Okay? And I had only had it like a year at that time. And if something happens, you're gonna lose people that you've grown close to, that you know their families.
Yeah.
And then you have the revenue side.
Yeah.
And that could just be a cataclysmic effect. Like everything's going to cascade.
Yeah.
And I said, this whole
You
house
could
of
lose a
cards
life and lose money all in the same
all
sentence.
together.
Yeah.
And so I
Double
didn't
whammy.
sleep for like 2 weeks. And then I realized, you know what, it was way outside of my control. I couldn't do it. Now my business partner, his wife is actually an emergency room doctor. So we were getting the supplies very early. We were getting the information early, and we just made sure we were on point. We sealed off the thing, make sure to keep the residents safe. Honestly, until like month 19 or 20, we didn't have one case. So we had to restrict their movements, like some of the other stuff. But this population understood. There was no pushback because they're like,
Yeah,
hey.
and then they like, look, I want to live.
Yeah, so it's totally
Like,
different.
so yeah.
It's not like us young people that, I still want to go to Miami.
Yeah, we outside. Yeah.
It was a little different. We're outside. Frankly, for some of the time, I couldn't even go to the retirement home because these guys were getting like triple, quadruple vax. I'm like, I'm good. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop here. So I couldn't even go to my own retirement home. But it was okay. My business partner, he was like triple vax and he was good. And then obviously all management, everything. So those are the downsides. When you're getting to a business like this, it's multifaceted. There's a lot of things. So it's not like let's make money in retirement home quick and
Yeah.
easy. That's not the title of this. There's a lot of stuff that had to go into it. If someone wants to do real estate and make money, there's obviously, like you said, there's other strategies to use that don't include 60 employees.
Yeah. But in this side, you got a double whammy. You got the development side,
Exactly.
you got the business side, which will ultimately, that business side 10x's the value
That's where you get it.
of your property, because now when you want to exit out of this whole thing, you're not just exiting by selling the business. You're selling a business that comes with a facility,
All the real estate.
all the real estate attached to it.
Yeah, we have a whole entire place. So I only told you 2 buildings. We're gonna do 4. So we're starting the second one in March, and then we got another 2 that are coming online. And it's all in the same land. So good. The land's already been paid for. It's just like
So
keep
what
winning.
you're gonna have about, when everything's all said and done, how many doors will you have in this?
500 doors.
500 doors.
500 doors on one site that I paid $1.1 million for. And then on top of the $1.1 million, I got a $600,000 in development credits. Because you know, whenever you build a unit, you might pay $20,000, $30,000 a door. That goes to the municipality, right?
Yeah.
For allowing you to develop. But I had $600,000 in credit. So really, I paid $500,000 for 8-acre site that overlooks the water, that has my own exit. I'm going to have 500 units on it. And when I exit, we're going to exit next 36 to 48 months. Like, that's our timeline. We're going to build this up. We've already managed it. We've established the brand. And some of the bigger brands are already having a conversation with us saying, hey, like, let's say someone sold 12 retirement homes for $1 billion in Vancouver. It's 12 homes. They sold them for $1 billion. Because you're looking at the trailers. If a guy has money and he has a private equity firm, he's just looking at the returns.
Yeah.
It's just a widget. It's just a number for him on a screen. That's it, right? So this, at the end of it, we should be able to sell for like 150 to 170 million for that site with the 4 buildings. So it's going to be 2 retirement homes and a memory care, and then another one is going to be an old age rental building. So no services, but they just a rental, and they can age in place. So they go from a rental to something a little bit more assisted. And then after they go there, then they go to the memory care, which I don't have right now. So if something happens, they have Alzheimer's or any of these other things, then they go right there. So we're gonna have a full ecosystem for them. It's gonna be just, south of 200 M's to sell it.
A 200 M play.
And that's just one play. I got 10 sites, but this is just one play. And that's where I'm saying the conversation with you guys, like, hey, you guys have done something I never could do. I never got to this point on like social where you guys have so much equity because everybody trusts what you said. And plus, like you said, you've been doing it for 20 years. So now imagine you take it with someone who's actually who's building, and guys who actually have real credibility in the community. They're visiting places and people are shaking hands. They're doing real deals. Yeah. I was telling my guy offline, I'm like, a lot of people are just playing at this they're making all their money online. They're not actually doing any deals.
Correct.
They're I'm Mr. Mortgage Guy, but they're not doing any mortgages.
Correct.
Well, they're giving you information how to do a mortgage they've never done.
Correct.
And you can't win like that. It's
no,
not
you
authentic.
can't win. You got to be a practitioner.
You have to practice what it is. So that's what I've been practicing since I was 24. I'm 45 right now. So, it's 20 year. I'm a 20-year man just like you, and we're coming to get this.
Look, man, I love this. You turned basically $500,000 after your credits,
500,000,
500K site until a $200 million play.
Yeah, just like
$500,000 to $200 million.
Yeah, in like 7 years.
In 7 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm like halfway through this thing. I got another 36 to 40, and I'm gonna just tap out, and that's it.
And cash out with.
I'm gonna cash out.
You're gonna cash out with over 100 M's.
Yes, I'm gonna cash out with 100 M's in my pocket. And the thing about it's already written because, like you said, math is the path. Like I've already done the math. Like now I'm just building like I've been doing this. I was doing renovation with my dad in the basement at like when the Blue Jays won the championship in '92. My dad had me in the basement. I was renovating, and I was like so mad. Everybody went down to the parade, and I had to stay home. He was like, "Yo, we're gonna run this plumbing." And that's it. Like I'm not a tradesperson, but you have to have a general understanding of what you need to do. So I know offline we're talking about part of the conversation. If you want to get into development, to me, you have to start renovation. You have to start renovating. You have to learn how to manage like 4 people or 6 people. You have to learn how to manage trades on a micro level before you get anywhere else. And I tell people, every level, there's on life. But to get the next level, you have to solve this equation first. So if you can't manage 4 people, you're never gonna have the opportunity to manage 400. This is not gonna happen. You gotta manage 4. Then you go to 8, you know what I'm saying? And then you could take a quantum leap, but you have to understand the basic fundamentals. So I managed 4 people. I was painting while, someone else was doing the flooring, whatever. I managed 4 people. Then I had a crew and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sell the real estate. And then to a point where I had a guy who was doing the check-ins and I wasn't doing the check-ins anymore, right? And then you keep leveling up. But I think today what I'm seeing is everybody wants to be the boss. Nobody wants to do the work. It's not going to happen like that. You got to do the work. And then you can get to the level that you're in. But if you keep failing that same level, don't think that you're going to be rewarded getting to the next level. It's not going to happen.
No, that's a fact.
Major gem right there. Major gem right there. How you going to manage 400 if you can't manage 4?
Yeah, and that's what people do.
Yeah.
Can't manage your brother and sister, and they want to, they're like, I want a business. Why is no one paying me? Well, no one's paying you. What are you talking about? You haven't proven anything yet. Like,
Nothing.
you don't have any pedigree to do any of this. If I put you in that situation to manage 400 people, you wouldn't be able to win anyway. So I'm never going to put people in a position to fail. So that's what people want to do. They want to come to me like, oh, Gerard, like, why don't you let me get this job or let me do that? I got friends who I wish they were leveling up. But I'm like, I can't help you even get to that level. You got to help yourself. You got to really give me something to work with, and I'll meet you halfway. But for me to do it for you, it's not going to happen. I'm going to put you in a position you're going to lose. And you know what? At the end of the day, who are you going to blame? You're going to blame me.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, yo, Troy,
100%.
why'd you put me to manage those 400 people? You know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like,
You set me up for failure.
yeah, that's what you asked for, right?
Yeah.
And then I gave it to you. So that, to me, that's just life. It's just a circle of life.
Progression.
That's what we're doing.
It's a progression of life.
That's what
right?
you do.
I would say all the time, people want to build a house, but they want to start at the roof and not the foundation.
Boom.
Right? You got to start with your foundation. And the foundational work comes in many different things, but I think, education, is a great foundation. Taking baby steps, is very important. Like you said, 92, you was running plumbing with your dad. Right?
In the basement.
All that stuff prepares us for where we are today, and we don't never really think about that, right? Like our past has dictated what our presence and our futures are going to be.
Exactly where we are now.
Where we are now. So I think you're 100% right. Like if you want to be a developer, do a couple rehabs first. Start small. Mm-hmm. We're not telling you to go ahead and start and buy and build a retirement
we're not doing
home.
that.
We're just giving you another source of a play when it comes to real estate. It's not just everything that you guys see. That's just the black and white stuff that most people are talking about. That's why we're having this conversation, because it's like, yo, I'm even sitting here like, damn, this is a play.
That's crazy.
Like, how can I run this in America?
Oh, you
because
can.
because all the numbers are the same, and I see these retirement homes everywhere.
It's the same.
Right?
It's the same
thing. And I'm now like, all right, let me really look into this and research this, and let me learn more about this, because you sparked this interest when we met the other day. I'm like, damn, retirement homes.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Like, I see them all the time, but I never really think, like, what's the real play behind it. So I appreciate your transparency and coming on the show today and, like, really, like, breaking this thing down. Mm-hmm. So now we have a better understanding of how this thing is running, and I'm looking forward to see you run up 200 plus M's, bro.
Let's do it.
Like,
I want you right beside me, because we can do some of these in America. I need a link down here. I need some like-minded individuals who's like, hey, you know what? Let's get this bag. Like, we're trying to make a B. Let's go get it.
Let's go. We need $1 billion too. You know what I'm saying? We're all about running a B, man. Tooks, you got any more questions? I think this was dope.
That was solid. Yeah, the questions that you asked pretty much answered it with the money and everything. So
yeah, the money play is important, but I think the humanity aspect of this is even more important than just running up the money. It's like you're taking care of the elder, and you're giving them. It's like I tell people all the time. You hear me say this all the time, Tooks. When you're being a landlord, you're actually responsible for your tenants. You have to make sure that they are healthy, in a healthy environment, safe environment, and an environment that they want to continue to stay so they can continue to pay. Right? It's a responsibility. It's a maturity thing. And now when you're dealing with the elders, like you said, with COVID and everything that's happening, they are at danger when you have these type of things going around. So it's even more responsibility to make sure you got the proper staff and proper things to keep them safe. So I think this is an incredible way to run a play, make money, but also kind of giving back at the same time.
Giving back to,
Because how many horror stories you hear about retirement homes and things of that nature, and people not really taking
because
care.
They don't really care. Like,
they don't care.
Some people just want.
They want the check.
They want a check, and to me, it's so short-sighted anyway. Because if you do the right thing for people, you're gonna win more in the end anyway. But you want to take a shortcut. You're like, oh, let me get this bag now, and then your retirement shut down. Then you don't have the occupancy. Then the reviews are bad. Like, what's the point in that? If you do it the right way, you can help people and make more money. To me, it's simple math. Like, it's not even, it doesn't even make any sense. But unfortunately in life, there's a lot of people who just don't want to take the long game. Everybody wants to win the lottery. Everybody wants a short game. Everybody thinks they're going to be a crypto millionaire overnight. And I think it's just ridiculous. I've been playing the lottery because I'm like, I don't want to win. I love to toil. I love it. I love to put work in. Like, that's just the type of person I am, where everybody wants, just a quick fad. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and it's not real. So, yeah, but listen, when you come, I'm gonna come. I think we're gonna come check you in Detroit. I want to get a feel for.
Well, pull up.
Because it's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I want to see what's good, but I love what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
And I appreciate you for having me out.
No doubt, man.
Daniel, jump in here.
Tell everybody how to follow you on everything.
Listen, best way to find me is IG M5E_developments. I'm on YouTube as well, M5E Developments. I'm on TikTok. Might sound repetitive, M5E Developments. We keep it 100. Find me. We got information. DM me. Get at me. I'm always here. I give you full transparency, so that's what it is.
Look, guys, make sure y'all tap in with my guys, man. Don't play yourself. This was a lot of information. Go to their channels. He's definitely giving a lot of information, and you guys can learn more. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, man. Let us know your thoughts about this type of content. But we out of here. But make sure you go to mgbookstore.com. Pick up those books, too. This is Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.